Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We so much appreciate your support and your generosity and your love and friendship, especially during this year of the pandemic. We hope that you will enjoy this very special dinner that's been lovingly prepared by so many of our wonderful cooks at Ananda. And the presentation that you're about to see is delightful, so enjoy.
I also want to thank you all so much, especially for your friendship, but also, of course, your support. And I'll just say a little bit about the gift that you are receiving, which I'm holding here, which is an album of albums, an album of selections from our decades of music and chanting. And the first album on this, featured on here, was recorded in 1981. So this goes back 40 years. And we just took one, or in one case, there's 3 songs from the oratorio, but every other album only has one choice from it on this compilation. And it comes from our hearts with a lot of joy. It sort of threw Nirmala and I back into our production mode yesterday and recently, because we put all this together. Nirmala made the cover for it with a photo of our own roses out here in the Babaji garden. But it was a joy to do, and I hope you'll enjoy having it and listening to it. So God bless you all, dear ones. Enjoy your meal, and we'll greet you just after the little video presentation is finished.
Weaving spiders come not here, hence you long-legged spinner.
Our story, condensed though it may be, tells the tale of a midsummer's eve, where fairies and gnomes live hidden among the trees. They play pranks and jokes on unsuspecting human beings, controlling the cycles and life's hidden breeze. Our story opens with an argument between the beautiful Titania, the fairy queen, and Oberon, the powerful and dashing fairy king. Oberon wishes to have the Indian boy that Titania keeps for herself, for she promised her dear friend who has passed from this world that she would care for him. Oberon, selfish and demanding, and with stinging sarcasm, begins by saying, "How awful it is to see you, my Titania." And in her coy and equally condescending response replies, "Oh, what? Are you jealous, dear Oberon?" Oberon, with bluster and deep disdain, reminds Titania of her obligations as a wife, and that she is obliged to obey her lord and husband, whereas Titania reminds him that his duty is to be faithful to her. Both accuse the other of infidelity and overly affectionate feelings towards mortals.
Ill met by moonlight, proud Titania.
What, jealous Oberon?
Am not I thy lord?
Then I must be thy lady. But I know when thou hast stolen away from fairyland, and in the shape of Corin sat all day, playing on pipes of corn and versing love to amorous Phillida, why art thou here, come from the farthest steppe of India?
How canst thou thus for shame, Titania, glance at my credit with Hippolyta, knowing I know thy love to Theseus? Didst thou not lead him through the glimmering night from Periguna, whom he ravished?
These are the forgeries of jealousy, and never since the middle summer's spring met we on hill, in dale, forest, or mead.
Titania begins to weep as she laments the red roses that are now covered with a cold frost, and the summer flowers that wear a crown of icy winter, as if there was some sick joke at play. Spring, summer, fertile autumn, and angry winter have all changed places. And now the confused world doesn't know which is which, because they, Titania and Oberon, are arguing.
And this same progeny of evils comes from our debate, from our dissension. We are their parents and original.
The arguing continues as Oberon asks again for the Indian child that is in Titania's keeping. Insistent that this beautiful child should be his, Oberon continues with the plea that all could be well if only Titania gave the child to him so that he may be his henchman.
Do you amend it then? It lies in you. Why should Titania cross her Oberon? I do but beg a little changeling boy to be my henchman.
Titania again refuses as she insists the child was left to her and for her care alone by his dear mother, a dear friend.
Set your heart at rest. The fairyland buys not the child of me. His mother was a votaress of my order, and in the spiced Indian air by night full often hath she gossiped by my side, and sat with me on Neptune's yellow sands, marking the embarked traders on the flood. But she, being mortal, of that boy did die. And for her sake do I rear up her boy, and for her sake I will not part with him.
The meeting ended badly, Titania saying she might continue to stay in the forest until after the wedding of the mortal king, Theseus, and that Oberon is welcome to stay with them only if he behaves himself and joins in the fairies' dancing. Oberon agreed, but only if Titania would relinquish the child. Titania refused.
Well, go on thy way. Thou shalt not from this grove till I torment thee for this injury.
Oberon calls forth his trusted fairy Puck.
My gentle Puck, come hither. Thou rememberest, since once I sat upon a promontory.
Oberon asked of Puck, or our Robin Goodfellow, if he remembered the time when a mermaid was riding the back of a dolphin and sang the sweetest song. It was so harmonious that it calmed the stormy sea, shooting stars out of the sky so they could hear better.
That very time I saw, but thou couldst not, flying between the cold moon and the earth, Cupid all armed. A certain aim he took at a fair vestal throned by the west, and loosed his love shaft smartly from his bow, as it should pierce 100,000 hearts.
But alas, Cupid aimed his arrow at a virgin and failed to distract her from her pure thoughts. Oberon watched and saw where Cupid's arrow fell. It fell upon a little western flower which used to be white as milk, but now it turned purple from being wounded by the arrow of love. "Fetch me that flower," cried Oberon, "for if its juice is put on someone's eyelids while they're asleep, that person will fall in love with the next living creature that he or she sees."
I'll put a girdle round about the earth in 40 minutes.
"Hello, spirit. Where are you going?"
Over hill, over dale, through bush, through briar, over park, over pale, through flood, through fire. I do wander everywhere, swifter than the moon's sphere, and I serve the fairy king to do his orbs upon the green. The cowslips tall his pensioners be. In the gold coat spots you see, those be ruby, fairy favors. In those freckles live their savors. I must go seek some dewdrops here, and hang a pearl in every cowslip's ear.
And off he went in search of the magical flower. Meanwhile, there was a band of actors, bumbling idiots actually, rough workmen from Athens, preparing and rehearsing a play they planned to perform on Theseus's wedding day. The stupidest, according to Puck and perhaps others, professed his amazing acting talents as he auditioned for each role. Finally, after much effort to prove his skill, he was given the role of Pyramus, and after finishing his scene, he went to sit in the bushes to wait for his next cue. Puck took the opportunity to stick a donkey's head on him only because he found him so foolish.
A crew of patches, rude mechanicals, that work for bread upon Athenian stalls, were met together to rehearse a play, intended for great Theseus' nuptial day. The shallowest thick skin of that barren sort, who Pyramus presented in their sport, forsook his scene and entered in a break, when I did him at this advantage take, an ass's knoll I fixed upon his head.
Meanwhile, our unsuspecting Titania calls forth her fairies to sing and dance for her, to lull her to sleep.
Come now, a roundel and a fairy song. Then, for the third part of a minute, hence, some to kill cankers in the musk rose buds, some war with rear mice for their leathern wings, to make my small elves coats, and some keep back the clamorous owl that nightly hoots and wonders at our quaint spirits. Sing me now asleep, then to your offices, and let me rest.
What thou seest when thou dost wake, do it for thy true love take. Love and languish for his sake, be it ounce or cat or bear, pard or boar with bristled hair. In thy eye that shall appear, when thou wakest, it is thy dear. Wake when some vile thing is near.
O bottom, thou art changed. What do I see on thee?
Oh, what do you see? You see an asshead of your own, do you? I see their knavery. This is to make an ass of me, to frighten me if they could. But I will not stir from this place, do what they can. I will walk up and down here, and I will sing, that they shall hear I am not afraid. The woozle cock so black of hue, with orange and white tawny bill, the throstle with his note so true, the wren with little quill.
What angel wakes me from my flowery bed?
The finch, the sparrow, and the lark, the plain saw cuckoo grey, whose note full many a man doth mark, and dares not answer nay.
I pray thee, gentle mortal, sing again. Mine ear is much enamoured of thy note, so is mine eye enthralled to thy shape, and thy fair virtue's force perforce doth move me on the first view to say, I love thee.
Methinks, mistress, you should have little reason for that. And yet, to say the truth, reason and love keep little company together thee nowadays. The more the pity that some honest neighbours will not make them friends. Nay, I can gleek upon occasion.
Thou art as wise as thou art beautiful.
Not so, neither. But if I had wit enough to get out of this wood, I have enough to serve mine own turn.
Out of this wood do not desire to go. Thou shalt remain here, whether thou wilt or no. I am a spirit of no common rate. The summer still doth tend upon my state, and I do love thee. Therefore go with me. I'll give thee fairies to attend on thee, and they shall fetch thee jewels from the deep, and sing while thou on pressed flowers dost sleep. And I will purge thy mortal grossness, so that thou shalt like an airy spirit go. Peace blossom, cobweb, moth, mustard seed.
Weaving spiders, come not here. Hence, you long-legged spinner hens. Beetles black, approach not near. Worm nor snail do no offense. Philomel with melody.
Good night, dear friends. We bid adieu, as all good fairy tales must do. Titania and Oberon amends they made, and Cupid's arrow, alas, did fade. As for Puck and Bottom, they too are friends, and now donkey, human, and fairy can ascend.
You spotted snakes with double tongue, thorny hedgehogs be not seen, newts and blind worms do no wrong. Come not near our fairy queen. Philomel with melody, sing in our sweet lullaby. La 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 lullaby. La 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 lullaby. Never harm nor spell nor charm. Come our lovely lady nigh. So good night, so good night with lullaby. Weaving spiders, come not here, hence you long-legged spinner hens. Beetles black, approach not near, worm nor snail do no offense. Philomel with melody, sing in our sweet lullaby. La 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 lullaby. La 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 lullaby. Never harm nor spell nor charm. Come our lovely lady nigh. So good night, so good night with lullaby. So good night, so good night with lullaby.
Wasn't that sweet and wonderful? We have so much talent here amongst our Gurubais. And we also want to take the opportunity to thank all of the cooks. You may not know that so many of them participated in creating the beautiful meal that you received. Of course, Alvida and Carmenza were heading up the extravaganza, but they were helped very much by Chandi and Corinna, Kathleen Kofroth, Kathleen and Mike Ozerov, Devaki and Chaitanya were singing waiters, also Matt and Daisy, and Michelle and Alan and Prem and Terry were all singing waiters. And also amongst the cooks and helpers were Chandrika, Sharmila, and Yvonne. So we want to thank everyone who participated and everyone who supported and gave their love and generosity to this project. God bless you.
God bless you all. Thank you all so much. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.